Hello, viewers. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. Today, I want to look at the week ahead for Donald Trump. We know that the Republicans are making their case in the Senate. I, for one, have switched off. Interesting to note the news feeds. They are still focusing on Schiff's closing arguments, which drew enormous crowds. And of course, now Trump makes it worse by tweeting that Schiff hasn't paid the price yet, or will pay a price. Words to those effects. So again, the threats are coming out and have the potential to embolden his base, those cult-like followers. Hasn't paid the price yet. What does he mean by that? Well, of course, he means that when Trump is able to, he is going to exact revenge in some way. That's what he's meaning by that. But it's very dangerous rhetoric to be using, very dangerous indeed. So Schiff is one of those modern day heroes that comes along every now and then. He's earning his place in history right now, and so is Donald Trump. And it's not a favourable place in history. He won't be well remembered. And I guess the saddest part of that is that he will never understand why he won't be well remembered. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to use my Ironwing tarot. It was a deck that was gifted to me by a wonderful viewer whom I won't name. I'm sure she doesn't want to be named on this forum, but know that it was received with absolute and utter heartfelt appreciation. The Ironwing tarot deck is a very rare tarot. It was produced in 2004 by Lorena Babcock Moore. If you want to know more about that, they're very rare, hard to get hold of. If you want to know more about the Ironwing, www.mineralarts.com. I'm still getting to know this deck. I'm still mastering the major arcana. It's a shamanistic deck, and of course, you're getting images like that on each of the major arcana. Without getting too much into a review of the deck, this, of course, is the Temperance card. How would you even know that? Well, if you look, you've got the cooling waters here heading toward the fire behind, and when the water meets the fire, of course, you have a cooling and a healing effect that actually goes out into the atmosphere. So that is the Temperance card. But I thought I would try something different today, just to see if we can deepen our spiritual awareness of why Donald Trump is here, why we're going through this at the moment, and just to really look at that why. But let's now approach it with having a look at his week ahead. Of course, the Parnas recordings just keep getting worse. They keep, Parnas has said, as long as he denies knowing me, then of course I will release a video each week, or release a photo, something each week that shows the relationship between us. So really, in some ways, Donald Trump feeding, of course, Parnas and Fruman were arrested, as you know, after what is alleged to be a tip-off. And so in a way, they were the scapegoats as this Ukrainian matter started to become more and more public. Trump wanted a scapegoat. Was he playing with fire with these two? I think the Ukrainian business people. They're living in America now. I think, is Parnas an American citizen? I'm not sure, but it's one thing to bluff the media in New York and threaten officials and build a brand which is really just an intense marketing exercise based on lies. It's another thing to start to feed what are Ukrainian business people who, with strong ties to Ukrainian oligarchs and Russia, it's another thing to start to feed them as scapegoats. What happens? They start fighting back and they start to play dirty. So Donald Trump has enmeshed himself now in a hotbed with his enemies. That's how I see it. And this isn't going to stop. This is going to continue. So hence the impeachment trial in the Senate is more focused on what Parnas is doing than anything else. When a Fox News poll puts 50% of voters wanting to see this president removed, that's astonishing. Fox News poll, over 50%, I think is it 50, 51%, wanting to see this president removed. And then you get to 69, I think 69% in a Reuters or other poll want to see witnesses and documents produced at this trial. So we're, again, I go back to the Republicans might win some battles, but they're not winning the war. They are not winning the war. So with that, let's look at the Ironwing Tarot. It's a bit of an intro, but I felt it important today on this day to give that intro. Let's have a look at the Ironwing Tarot, Trump's week ahead. What can you show me? What can you show me about Trump's week ahead? So I see that he's writing something, and I think it is an executive order. So I feel that his vindictiveness is going to be manifested this week. And he's at his desk and he's carving out something. He's writing, signing something, which is actually going to be a pushback against what he sees as this unfair witch hunt, because you've got to understand Trump is deluded. Unless you understand that, unless you understand the abject failure of this person, then you're not understanding anything. So, sorry, my screen just went away then. I don't know why that happened, but it just completely went away and Microsoft Word came into the frame. So what I was saying was this is, and this is maybe Spirit's hand is in this, to understand just how deluded, how mentally unstable this man actually is. Unless you understand that, unless you then, you're giving him too much kudos, basically, if you don't understand that basic fact. All right, and we don't want to give him kudos. Trump's week ahead, deluded, perhaps signing some kind of executive order. Let's have a look at that. Show me Trump's week ahead. Show me Trump's week ahead. Lovely. Okay, so what I'm seeing is the Death card. Now, this is not literally, I'm not surprised this has come through, and this card, while it doesn't look pleasant, it's not meant to be pleasant. But when we contemplate this card, that we see also that while one thing is dying, something new is growing, and this is the new life that starts to spring. So let me just now pull the laptop down, and we'll go through past, we'll go through present, we'll go through the challenge, and then we'll go through the future. This is just in this very narrow time frame, a week to 10 days ahead. So let me bring the laptop down. Okay, so we've got something that is already ending. In a way, if you don't understand that his presidency one way or another, without looking for, quick time frames like let him be gone in a week, which we would all hope, we need to understand his presidency is already ending. Okay, so that's the past. The present, we've got the Hermit card, and this is the introspection. It is the this is where now the vast majority of independent voters want to see the truth come forward, and I feel that is very important. Let me just, my laptop is doing strange things at the moment. I'm not sure why, and I'm not sure how that's going to affect the reading. However, the Hermit card, introspection, this person, as he or she makes his way toward really what is something new with the light to guide him, leaves behind a trail, leaves behind a mark. So in as much as we are I feel the populace, the greater, the world, humanity is on this quest to come to some kind of enlightenment. We have to move through the dark before we get to the light. So that's what's happening at the present. That's why we need to understand that this presidency is already over. This whatever Donald Trump gave birth to is already on the wane. Okay, so we have the past, we have the present. What is the challenge here? Okay, this is the Hanged Man. This is, if you look at this card, it's almost like people are in trance. They are being forced to see things in a different way, and it's quite huge when we get the Hangman coming forward. It's quite something that we have to move, some kind of attitude, belief, way of doing things that is stuck almost. And to get out of that, to get this forward progress, we are stuck in the moment, and a moment can last as long as it's going to last before we break through this trance state so that we can move forward. And that is in the challenge position. All right, let's see what's in the future. Okay, so we have the devil. All right, now this is interesting. Every time the devil comes forward, I said a week, about 10 days, which is current for this reading. This is the Trump for the week. Show us Trump for the week. It could, though, be a microcosm. What we have here with this devil card, this person has a centipede on their back. Their challenge is to harness what is quite substantial, powerful energies before they overtake this person, before the actual I guess, power of what is being brought forward becomes parasitic. And this is, I think, really for the GOP this week. Do they understand what they're playing with? Do they understand what's at stake? When I've looked at interviews, I don't think they do. Does Trump understand the kind of power that he's wielding? I don't think, I think that he is a narcissist, and so he's very, very limited. But this is the kind of energy that's swirling at the moment. So what you're going to see is the GOP. This is the week for Trump. And we probably, because I got that image of him signing something, there's going to be some kind of executive order that comes out. Now, I want to deepen. What's at the base of the pack? Okay, so we have the Fool. We've got new starts, and there is a compass in this, and we need to find our way forward. So that is interesting. And of course, we have the Lovers card, which is, we always say, well, this is, my card for Donald Trump because he's a Gemini. But it's also, if you think about it, it's also why we're entranced, and because I feel enough people, both Republicans and Democrats and independents, have to get to a point where they're going to reject this, Who holds the power in this? Who holds the power? Donald Trump holds the power, but also the American people and humanity as a whole. We are, if you think, and I come back to this again, if you think that that Donald Trump is going to win, that he always gets away with things, then that's not the right way to think, because you're giving this, let me just call, this narcissistic, weird dude more power than what he deserves. So, we really need to put that into perspective. It's a bigger battle that is being fought. It's bigger than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is only representative of the problem that existed before he came along, and this is almost like cleaning house. This is almost like, fire burning the house. We need to get to a point where we clean everything out and start again. But to do that, we need to understand and see see this energy for what it is. So in the Rider-Waite, this is greed and this is avarice. In this tarot, it's wielding this power that can either be used for the good or can be used for the ill. And what we're seeing is it's being used for the ill. So we need to understand, I ask for a deeper spiritual awareness. We need to understand what power we actually wield here, and how it can be diverted and, I guess, misused, and we need to see that quite clearly, and that's where we are at the moment. That's where we are this week. So I am heartened by these cards because I feel that the ending, the death of one way is already in the past. This is where we are at the moment, and the more that we reflect and the more that we see the desecration is the word I'm going to say, the word I was looking for, the desecration of the truth so blatantly. The more we see that, the more we reflect on it, the more that we are able to move out of this trance state, to see this energy for what it is, and to bring forward something new. That was the Fool card at the base of the pack, to bring forward something new. So let's drill down a little bit on these cards. I'm going to now move, well, first of all, I'm going to take some water, and then I'm going to move to the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Kranz. Another deck that is not so obvious, and can be looked at intuitively. So we have the past, something dying, something coming to an end. We have the present, the Hermit. We have the challenge. We're in this trance state. We really need to see this energy more clearly. This isn't necessarily, it's how this energy is used. It can be used for good or it can be used for ill, and we are seeing that at the moment. So this week is important. It's really a turning point, I feel. Even though we're having to learn that through adversity, I do feel it's a turning point. All right, so let's have a look and deepen this reading a little bit. Let's have a look at the Death card. The Death card something has come out. So we have the 3. All right, let's have a look. We've had the whistleblower, the Daughter of Cups. We've had an offering, somebody coming forward, finding their truth, wanting to bring the truth forward, doing so to break a deadlock, to bring forward the truth. This is what led to the impeachment. Okay, so this is what we're seeing. We have the Father of Swords. We've had people like Schiff and others, the people that testified in the House, Yovanovitch, etc. People that are coming forward, bringing their objectivity, bringing their truth to the table, bringing the evidence in. So this is why it's almost an inevitable death here. And we have loss and heartbreak. Okay, so those 3 cards, I feel, sum up what has occurred in the past with this impeachment. Let's move to the present. So we've got the Hermit card. Show me, this is the reflection as people are looking at the impeachment. This is also Donald Trump too, I have to say, increasingly isolated. It's the force of whatever his destiny is, that he does lie. He does, I guess, threaten and intimidate to try and stop the inevitability happening. This happened. I read a good biography article, I think in the New York Times, on the lead up from a journalist who was around at the time, the lead up in the late 80s and 90s before Donald Trump went bust. He was absolutely manic in trying to intimidate and lie. In some way, I think he knows that this death card is here. And I feel that he is also, now moving into a more isolated position. We might not be able to see it at the moment, but certainly when you have those polls coming forward, which are, let's face it, very detrimental to him, you know, he's got to be feeling like this. I think he said at Mar-a-Lago, why are they doing this to me? He still cannot understand that his behaviour is against the law. That what he's done is potentially against the law. So show me Donald Trump this week. He'll be looking for a way out of that dark hole. Show me Donald Trump, because that's what they do. All right, show me Donald Trump. And it is vengeful, vindictive behaviour that we may see this week via an executive order of some description. Show me Donald Trump this week. Okay, so we have the Tower. Yeah, this is really, as I say, what affects Donald Trump, unfortunately, affects us all. We now have Iran firing rockets at the American. Well, we don't know that it is Iran. Somebody in the Middle East firing rockets at the U.S. embassy in Iraq, the Tower. So he's feeling quite isolated, Donald Trump, at this point in time. He doesn't know who his friends and enemies are, I feel. There is a Tower moment upon him. If you look at this card, this is a breaking of something, a lightning strike and a breaking. He will show some kind of strength. He will want to demonstrate his strength. And we have the Six of Wands, the Seven of Wands. So this strength will be to defend himself. Whatever he does, in his mind, you know, if you understand anything, you have to understand this person is deluded. He is not stable, and we have ample evidence of that. He's a pathological liar, for starters. He's going to want to do something that makes him look strong this week. Okay. Fight back, because the Tower is upon him. He knows it. All right. So he'll be thinking about what he can do to show that strength. All right. Let's have a look at now the challenge for us, the Hanged Man. Show me this Hanged Man spirit. This is a trance situation where we're being forced to see what remained hidden in the past. Show me this card, please. This Hanged Man. Show me this Hanged Man. Show me this Hanged Man. I'm getting a pull also to his followers are also in some kind of almost like they're hypnotized. And we've got the Eight of Cups here, so we've got loss. Okay, so leave that one there. Show me this Hanged Man, Donald Trump this week, please. Okay. All right, so we've got the Three of Cups. So facing loss, the natural way for him to go is to draw in those that support him. And again, I'm getting a pull to the GOP, who are part of the cult of Trump. In some way, he's going to. I'm getting, you know, wine and dine them. He's going to be contacting them to avert a loss. There is this cult-like feeling that I'm getting off the energy of this card's hypnotized, and we've got the Eight of Wands. Things coming at us quite quickly. What is the challenge? So something's moving forward. To draw that Eight of Wands above the Hanged Man is suggesting to me that what we're seeing at the moment in this impeachment trial is actually going to move things forward in some way. One more card, and we've got the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Swords. Something is being going to be set free. This is a restriction that we've put on ourselves. Of course, I asked the deeper question, why did we need to experience this? Donald Trump this week. Okay, something's coming forward that will restrict him this week as well. So we've got him wanting to show strength. We've also got something coming out. It's a communication that is actually going to restrict him in some way. The more the truth comes out, the more restriction that he's under. It's when he gets away with things that we see him being quite, I guess, blatant and not worrying about consequences if he's not pulled into line. Um, Classic narcissistic behavior. We have the one more card because I feel this challenge is important for us. The Five of Swords. What's going to be restricted? That is the abuse of power. So I feel that this communication that's coming forward from Parnas and is going to restrict him in some way. It's all part of that I guess story that we're unfortunately all living under. So, what is the challenge? Parnas is playing a role in bringing us forward, in enabling the story to move forward toward its inevitable conclusion. Because this death card, it's in the past position. His presidency is already dying. Okay, so the future, the challenge, this seeing this energy, seeing this power, what is it being used for ill or for good? Of course, some would say that past presidents have used this power for good, and they have. They absolutely have, to create and carve out the world that we're currently in. Unfortunately, this president is using it for ill, and if you have any doubts about that, go and listen to the Parnas tapes of the donors, the big businesses who are gathered in the room having that dinner, and also Donald Trump's comment around Ukraine. How long could they last if they didn't have that funding? Or do they rely in this war against Russia on the US aid? Yes, they do. Right. Let's put that away for future use. How was he wielding that? He was wielding that for ill. All right. So to deny aid to a country that is at war against the US adversary Russia is where the cogs were spinning at that time, at that dinner party. How will he wield the presidential power? Well, that's quite clear, and it is clear, not just for democratic people to see, not just for other countries to see, but for independent voters to see as well. Let's have a look at this this week, the next week, 10 days. We've got this greed, avarice. We have the GOP coming forward and supporting this president, hypnotised, in trance, worrying about their own futures, their own money, their own careers, as well as supporting this president, whom they know is guilty as all hell. So let's have a look at the devil card here. Show me this devil card. Spirit, show me this devil card. Show me this. Oops. Okay. So we have the Six of Pentacles. Okay, giving and receiving help. So I feel he'll be calling in favours. I think that's what that card is talking about. This is money. We have no idea until this sad chapter is over just how, in what way he may have profited from this presidency. We don't know what he's done to cover things up. We know the calibre of the person. We just don't know how this 3 years, almost 3 years of the Trump presidency, what damage has been done. Let's have a look at this devil card. Show me this devil card, Donald Trump, this week. Okay. So we've got the world. So, okay, so there's something I saw him writing. There is something here that pulls in other countries. And it could be, what came to mind was what payoffs he may be getting in one way or another. As I go back to the Parnas dinner and how that unfolded, imagine that with Saudis, with Netanyahu, with Putin, with whoever sitting around a table. Imagine the conversations. And we've got the King of Wands. So these are the lawmen as well. Um, I'm afraid that we're going to see more of the GOP enabling this president. How really being complicit in how this information, how this energy is used. But I do feel there's something else on the world stage here. That some kind of announcement. I feel that there's going to be. Well, let's drill down. Let's keep going. The moon. Okay, so there's some kind of shadow foreign policy matter that is unfolding at the moment. Don't think for one moment that just because he's has a trial in the Senate that he hasn't stopped. He has stopped, but we have truth coming out. So there is more around this shadow side that is going to come out this week. What else has Parnas got to release? There's whispers around Bolton writing something, an introduction to his book that contains some explosive information. The shadow side of his foreign policy this week will be more amplified. How is he using this power? That is what we're getting a good look at this week, and we're meant to. Underneath the base of the pack, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Things are changing and changing for the better. We also have the Two of Cups. There is a gradual coming together here of independents aligning with Democratic Party voters and demanding that the truth be protected. We have the Nine of Pentacles. This is the again having a good look at how this presidency has gone, how it's unfolded, and we've got the Ace of Cups. So at the end of the day, we have an opportunity here to see with great clarity what probably has been going on for some time, and an opportunity because of the strength of what we're seeing, an opportunity to make changes. Again, whatever's happening in the US is being picked up and happening here as well. So there is a change here. We don't want to see this abuse of power. We want greater accountability. Again, I think what is likely to come forward, he may sign some kind of executive order this week, which is really designed to be vindictive in some way. I'm not sure what that will be. I also feel that something else is happening on the world stage at the same time as we've got Parnas releasing and others perhaps releasing more information about his shadow foreign policy. At that same time, Trump is still doing it, still doing the same thing in the White House, still business as usual. And there's something around this foreign policy that he is planning, that he's talking about, that he's executing at the moment. So these are my intuitive impressions only. I hope you enjoyed. I wanted to bring forward a look at that Ironwing deck. It is quite powerful in the messages and the images, quite shamanistic that it brings forward. These cards have been coming up time and time again. The Death card, the Hermit card, the Hanged Man and the Devil. And really the Hanged Man comes often before the Devil card comes as well. But at the base of the pack, and this is what I want to leave you with, at the base of the pack was the Fool. Let me just get that card again. Before I started this reading, I drew a card to see if I should use this deck, and I got the Chariot, and I thought, yep, that's really where we are. It might seem like it's slow, but it's not slow at all. Let me just get this full card for you before I leave you. Okay, at the base of the pack, we've got the Fool, which is the new starts. What we've got to be mindful of, I think, is where our compass is pointing. That's the question I want to leave you with. All right, thank you for tuning in. The Ironwing deck, marvellous tarot, complicated tarot, but very, just gives you another layer here. So thank you again for tuning in.